The obligation to join a minyan when one fears he might get infected and sick from somebody in a shul that might be ill. Can one is concerned about being infected in a shul by joining the minyan pray at home, or must one still join a minyan regardless? In order to understand the times when one may choose to pray without a minyan, one must fully comprehend the importance of joining a minyan for prayer. The Gemara in Brachot Daf Vav writes that when 10 men join together for tefillah, the divine presence joins them. The verse in Tehillim states, "May my prayer be unto you, Hashem, in time of favor." The Gemara explains, what is time of favor? Time of favor refers to one who is praying with a minyan. The Rambam writes that a prayer with a minyan is never turned down by Hashem. Even if there are sinners amongst them, Hashem accepts that prayer. Therefore, the Rambam writes that one must join a minyan for prayer and should avoid praying alone whenever possible. This is but one example of many times that the sages wrote about the great benefits that comes with joining a minyan. There are various opinions regarding the levels of obligation to pray with a minyan, and we'll try to list few of them. The Chavot Yair comes out to be the most lenient. He writes that there is no actual obligation to join a minyan, although there are various benefits by joining a minyan. The Beit Shuvah writes that there is a rabbinical obligation to join a minyan, and the Shulchan Aruch Horaa writes, and he goes as far as to say that praying with a minyan is to such greater importance that it's even greater than a biblical obligation. The Shulchan Aruch in Siman Tzadik Seiftet writes that one must make an effort to pray with a minyan. However, the level of obligation implied by his words when he said that one must make an effort. What does it mean, effort? That's disputed amongst later halachic authorities. The Or Letzion and the Yad Yehuda write that there's no obligation to pray with a minyan, but one should still make an effort to do so. Therefore, if it's difficult for one to join a minyan, one would be exempt. Of Moshe, in Igrot Moshe, writes differently. He disagrees. He writes that the Shulchan Aruch refers to a specific obligation to pray with a minyan. He writes that since the halacha says that one is required to go up to 18 minutes out of his house to join a minyan, more than 18 minutes, one is exempt. Up to 18 minutes, one is obligated. So therefore, when the Shulchan Aruch writes that one should make an effort, what Moshe explains, he's saying that one who is too far from a minyan and is not obligated to travel to one should still make an effort to join that minyan. And therefore, efforts in his understanding refers to need to travel up to 18 minutes out of his way to do so. Lastly, the Minchat Yitzchak states that one is indeed required to pray with a minyan. And therefore, when the Shulchan Aruch writes one should make an effort, he refers to the requirements to pray in a shul, not a minyan, in a shul, instead of gathering a minyan in one's house. Thus, whether or not one is obligated to join a minyan depends on the ruling of the above authorities. Those who consider prayer with a minyan to be genuine obligation would require a serious possibility of true danger before permitting one to abstain. However, those who do not consider joining a minyan to be genuine requirement would allow one to abstain in less severe circumstances. Regarding the final ruling, we see in the Mishnah Berurah, Siman Tzadik, Siman Katan, Nun Bet, that a person is forbidden to travel in a dangerous condition to join a minyan. Therefore, to determine if one is exempt, one must evaluate the likelihood of getting sick by joining the minyan and how bad that sickness would be. And of course, the elderly or those with pre-existing conditions are more likely to be exempt due to the increased likelihood of danger.